7 out of 10 people report that they are not really fulfilled in life, in their whole life. And another statistic that doesn't feel too good either is 6 out of 10 people say that they're stuck in their everyday routine and some things need to change. I hear this an awful lot in my work. People say, I really don't have clarity on my vision right now, not quite sure what my purpose is. I'm going through a tough time in life and I don't know how I'm going to get through that. I hear those themes a lot with people. One guy said to me recently, it was at a workshop, and he came up to me and he said, Danny, he said, I just feel like I'm just kind of going through the motions every day. I got low energy, don't have a whole lot of direction or clarity or focus. He says, I feel like I'm just living. And I looked at him, and a cool guy, and I said, all right, I get it. I hear that. What would it be like if you went from just living to being fully alive? And he kind of looked, he said, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, everything that you just described, the opposite of that. Fully alive, so that you looked at all the key areas of your life, your health, your wealth, your relationships, your finances, your spirituality, your creativity. You looked at all those areas and you identified the ones that needed to grow stronger, to bring more happiness and more fulfillment for you. What if you did that and then you moved them all to the level where you feel pretty good and you were fully alive? What would that be like? And the guy looked at me, he started a little grin on his face. He said, that'd be pretty cool. And I said, yes, it would. Yes, it would. So my name is Danny Bader. I am an author and a speaker and podcaster and have led some workshops and done some keynotes over the years. And for the past 25 years, I have devoted myself and studied and written about and talked about and, connected with other people, all to learn how do we continue to support people and move them out of those negative areas of 7 or unfulfilled and those kinds of things. So it's all for me, if you boil it down, to let's create more happiness in the moment for ourselves and more fulfillment. So fulfillment is different from achievement. Achievement is I'm producing outcomes in my life, but maybe not the big ones. Fulfillment are achievements, and they're the ones that are desired or envisioned. So oftentimes we think about fulfillment when there's some tragedy in life. Right? Maybe we're coming back from the funeral of a young person and we start to shift and go to a higher perspective. That's what this work is about. Moving from happiness and fulfillment, right? From achievement to happiness and fulfillment. So over the past 25 years, as I said, I have done countless workshops for thousands and thousands of people where I've been blessed to walk them through a process and an approach and to produce a little bit more happiness and a little bit more fulfillment. I've worked in organizations like Comcast and Marriott and Ritz-Carlton, Adidas, Lincoln Financial, a whole lot of wonderful people that I've met over the years doing that kind of work. I always liked this work. I think that my passion for it really got rooted after I had a tragic accident when I was 28 years of age. You see, me and a friend of mine were lowering a ladder that we thought were going to miss the electrical lines. It didn't. Metal ladder, 8,000 volts of electricity, came down the ladder and went into my hands and out my feet. I had a hole on each side of each foot, 4 holes, and I died. My eyes were rolled back, foam all over my mouth, no heart rate, no respiration rate. I was dead for 8 to 10 minutes. And I came back to life. So after I came back to life, as you can imagine, pretty dark place. I needed a lot of focus, a lot of resilience, and certainly was not in the fulfilling in way right there. So I really studied it and I worked through it, and I'm thankful a lot of people have supported me on that journey, and that's what I've written about. So when you hear that story and you think, wow, oh my gosh, this guy died and he came back to life, you're going, okay, Danny, that's cool, but how does that relate to me? And I would offer you this. This morning, when you woke up, you came back to life. And I am certainly paying attention on my second trip here. Our daughter, we have 3 kids, but our daughter, when she was a little bit younger, maybe 10 or 12, and she found out about my story. Certainly when she was younger, we didn't tell. She's like, Dad, you know how people like YOLO? YOLO, you only live once? And I'm like, yeah, honey, what's up? She's like, you're like YOLT. And I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, my second time around here, let's pay attention to it. So what I think is really important for you is when you do come back to life every day, there's 2 questions we have to ask ourselves. Really, really powerful questions. Number 1 is, what are you up to creating in your life? What is your vision? What do you imagine over the next year for you in those areas of your life? and for your family and your career and your people and everything else that you work with. The second question is, how are you going about creating that? So the second question is really about your approach to your life. Now, it's great to ask those questions. It's vital to answer them. Many people go, okay, if I ask those questions and I answer them, you don't answer those questions in a minute and get the results that you're looking for. So I am really, really happy to announce, and I'm glad you're here, that we have put together a course, and it's called Back to Life, and it is based on the 5 Jackrabbit principles that I write and that I speak about, and that were instrumental in getting me back from that dark place in my life, and instrumental in helping a lot of people get out there and move through life and create some really cool things. So the Jackrabbit 5 Powerful Principles is the approach. So what's really important for people when they're stuck, and I hear all of this, is 2 things. You have to put yourself first. You have got to put yourself first. Then everything else gets better. And some people go, well, I don't know about that. Seems selfish. Not at all. You've got to take care of yourself, and then absolutely go love big and lead with love and put a lot of good service into the world. So number 1, put yourself first. Number 2 is you have to do the work. So when I talk with people and they understand that they need to grow and they need to get stronger and they need to shift their beliefs that they have and they need a big, bold vision for their life. And I go, you got to do the work. And they're like, yeah, I know, but I don't know how to do the work. Well, this course, Back to Life, is doing the work. That's how we designed it. I partnered with some extremely experienced and talented people that put together this workshop and this online course, rather, that you are going to go through. And it's through videos, and it's through exercises, and it's through experiences, and it's through stories that I'll share with you. And most importantly, it's about the exercises that you're going to do, the questions that you're going to answer to a lot of the answers that you bring to a lot of the big questions in life. It's not a 1-hour course. It is a commitment, and it's about you putting you first. So I'm really happy with the way that the course came out. Feedback has been wonderful on it right now, and I'm really glad to announce that it is here. People have asked over the years for me, hey, do you have anything online around this? Do you have anywhere we can go and get this? And for the most part, I was just doing it in the corporate workshops. So really happy to announce that it is here and you are checking it out. So 2 things you got to consider again, right? Is it time for you to put yourself first? You're probably nodding your head yes, and I hope that that's the answer. And number 2 is, are you ready to do the work? Because we have created a wonderful environment where you can go and do the work. 2 things that I know to be true. Number 1 is you. You are the only reason that you will not go out and create lots of happiness and fulfillment and really cool stuff in your life. You're the only reason it's not going to happen. Part 2 of that is you are the only reason that it will happen. So me, I'm betting on number 2 for you, which requires you to put yourself first and go ahead and do the work. So go ahead, click the enroll button, and let's get started. All the best.